Meet Bridget and Jen, your go-to gals for laughs, wisdom, and real talk on the podcast Don't Get Me Started. From relationships to finding joy, they'll keep you inspired and entertained through life's adventures after 50. So hit that subscribe button and join Bridget and Jen for Don't Get Me Started. Let's get started.
Okay.
Because being healthy now and being healthy in our 20s is a completely different thing.
Completely different.
And our perspective on what health is now and what health was in our 20s is also very different. So let's start there with maybe being healthy in our 20s was a little different in terms of, I feel like then it was all about being skinny and how small can you be, right?
You know that in the back of Cosmopolitan magazine, you could order bottles of speed.
I didn't know that. Really?
You're 10 years younger than me, but you could, like, Cosmo is what
Yeah, right.
what us girls read back then.
Right.
Yeah, in the back. There's like,
Well, what was the other one? Dexatrim. Isn't that what that was?
Yeah. Yeah. Or, okay, the weirdest name, but do you remember a diet candy called AIDS?
No.
My mom, and I've heard other people do this too. It's AIDS, AIDS, I guess it was called. I don't even think we talked about the other AIDS back then.
Right.
So I think that I think we're in the 70s. Okay. They were brown, soft, chewy squares. And I, being me, would empty my mom's, like I knew it was top drawer, top left drawer. It was, and I would eat that entire box.
Wow.
And they were diet squares.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, you're right.
Yeah.
Skinny was it. And it's not, it wasn't tone, it wasn't lifting weights, it was skinny.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, think back to Twiggy. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then what was the other way? Remember the waif models? Was that what they were called?
Moss.
Yes.
Kate Moss.
Kate Moss, yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. We've come a long way.
Yeah. Yeah. And cigarettes come a long way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Virginia Slims.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But where we are now is completely different.
Yeah. I don't know how it got there, but I know me personally at this age, it's I don't want a six pack anymore. I did for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I just want it to be attractive enough if I reach up
Mm-hmm.
to pull a fan pull.
Yeah.
That it
Yeah.
doesn't look too bad. That's
Yeah.
that's my goal.
Yeah.
And then I want tone arms.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm gonna need you to help me fill the the weight that I lost.
Yeah. Can we talk about that?
Of course.
Let's talk about it.
Oh, so I feel weird bringing up this subject with you because of your profession, but me, I finally at the age of 60.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of took the easy way out, and I had a listener,
Yeah.
a follower,
Mm-hmm.
suggest to me, because she heard me talk about my unhappiness with my weight.
Right.
And it's relative, like I never felt fat, but I did not recognize the girl.
I think it's about being comfortable in your own body, and
Yeah.
that is different for each person. And
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I always felt thin. I envisioned that I really was thin.
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably like opposite dysmorphia. And so this follower told me to try semaglutide compound with a doctor here locally, who I just love, Dr. Jules.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, no, she wasn't. She didn't.
She wasn't doing it in a mean way. She was just sharing.
Correct.
Yeah.
And there's a index that, I was afraid that I wasn't heavy enough to take that shot, Um, but yeah, I was approved, and I have to say that at my age, it was the first time ever that I got past like 7 pounds. Like, honest to God, I think 7 pounds was the most I ever lost of the 30, 40 pounds that I gained in recovery.
Yeah.
For having a little party for myself every day.
Yeah.
Congratulating myself for being so healthy.
Right.
So, I was always used to being somewhere between 135 and 140 my entire life.
Yeah.
And it never wavered. And you hear it a lot,
Right.
But my metabolism changed. I quit drinking. My age and everything, So yes, I've lost, I would say probably, I've lost the 30, 35 pounds. And so now I'm kind of at the maintenance level.
Okay.
What the drug does for me is it quiets the snacking food noise that fills my head. And everybody says to me, well, now what are you going to do? Now can you quit? And I learned prior to even going on it from my friends that are on it, that if you have the personality to go on this shot in the first place, you are not going to develop a new way of life, a new pattern that's going to keep that weight off. Because if you did, that's what you would have done in the first place. So I'm a lifer. I know that. I just space out lower dose. But I have to say again, for women my age, and if you're going to do this, you gotta replace that protein, and you gotta replace the muscle.
Yeah.
So you need her.
Yeah. Well, it is so important because, as we age, we are losing muscle. And so we have to make sure that we are providing our bodies what they need. So, but I first want to go back to a statement that you said where you said you felt like it was the easy way out. And I disagree that it is easy, because it is difficult. There are side effects. And I think it is something that we need to really look at as a society and start making it part of overall healthcare, because we have so many people that are suffering from chronic disease, which is so dangerous, whether it's heart disease or, a stroke or any obesity, any of those, that they all lead to severe complications down the road. And if we have something such as an anti-obesity medication that can help, that can be a tool to help people to not suffer from those things, then I think we need as a society to, figure out ways to make them more accessible, number one, to anyone that needs that.
Yep.
But there is also research currently that is showing the benefits when it comes to the heart and the brain as well. So I think down the road, we're also going to see these medications used in other areas that are not just maybe weight loss areas. But I don't think anybody who, if you are someone who is considering these and you're like, oh, I don't want to do it because I don't want the stigma behind that. I don't want somebody to think I'm taking the easy way out. I don't want anybody to think that. I want them to think, how is this going to improve my life? And if they see how that this is going to be a great improvement, I want them to take that step.
Yep.
I also don't want somebody to think that, oh, I have to do that. If that's not something that speaks to you, then, you leave it.
Yep.
But they do offer so many benefits. That being said, like you were saying, when you go on them, particularly in those first few weeks, you do start to lose the weight rapidly. And we do have to make sure that when we're losing that weight, we want to be able to protect the muscle, because it's that muscle that's going to keep us from losing our independence as we age. So we have to make sure that we are not just taking this medication, but that we're coupling it with making sure that we are eating the right amount of protein, that we are making sure that we're getting in some strength training. And, talking about what we saw fitness as in our 20s. Did you know what strength training was in your 20s?
No, and I was going
Yeah.
to say to anybody my age, be careful when you lose weight at this age.
Mm-hmm.
Things happen to your body that didn't happen in your 20s and 30s.
Right.
Like
Right.
if you lose the weight you lose,
Mhm.
and the
Mhm.
and the muscle, I gave up the weight, but now I've got to fill
Right.
I've got to fill the muscle back up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And the way to do that is through strength training.
Yeah.
And, we had a conversation. And I think we should just let our listeners in on the fact that I forgot to hit record.
Oh.
And we did a whole episode.
Well,
we
you
did
said
this
it.
whole episode. This is 2.0.
Yeah, the whole episode. So now I hear myself repeating the same. It's pretty funny.
Anyway, completely lost my train of thought, but I felt like
I think another thing that we had touched on was the diet that I have here versus the diet that I have in Costa Rica. Did we talk about that this episode now, or did we talk about it in the previous episode?
Yeah, we will.
I mean, the one you didn't record.
The one we didn't record, we talked about it.
We
talked about all the good stuff. You should have seen it.
Oh my goodness, thanks.
But don't worry, we're gonna do it all for you.
Okay.
So strength training.
Yeah.
We didn't know about that in our 20s.
No. It was just Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Right. And nothing could be farther from the truth when it comes to strength training for us, particularly as midlife women, because we are losing 3 to 5% of our muscle every decade. And once you hit 60, that escalates. So it's important that we are strength training. And unfortunately, there are things out there that we think are strength training, but they're not. And so the science shows us that the only way to actually build bone and to build muscle is to lift heavy things. And, if you're not currently lifting, that doesn't mean that you can't do it.
Yep.
And, we start small, we start at home, and that's the best place to start is at home.
Especially because what kept me from going into the gym and doing workouts is the structure and getting the sneakers on and the workout clothes on and getting in the car and going to the gym and when you can just pick up milk jugs, water jugs.
Right, because that can feel so overwhelming sometimes. It's like, shit, I got one more thing on my plate and I don't really want it there. And what's the first thing to go, right? We're going to do things in life that we want to do, that we enjoy. Unfortunately, there are times in our life where we have to do the things we don't enjoy. I don't enjoy laundry, but I still do it, right?
Yeah.
Because if I don't, I have dirty clothes.
Yeah.
So we have to think of our strength training just like that. If we hate it, we still have to do it. But how can we do it in a way that is manageable? And one way is to look for things around the house that we have: milk jugs, backpacks, large laundry detergents. Find those things and do some squats, do some lunges with those things, carry those up and down the steps. Those are things that we can work into.
Push-ups in the door frame.
Push-ups in the door frame. Push-ups are so important. So many women are so intimidated by push-ups. They think the military, they think, I can't do that. Do them, on the wall, do them on the side of the kitchen counter. You can do them on your couch as long as it doesn't move. Make sure whatever you're doing them against does not move. Because if you should fall, you're going to have the strength to be able to push yourself up. Yep. And so don't be afraid of those push-ups, so important. But we have to be strength training, because if not, we are working ourselves closer and closer to losing our independence as we age. And so you want to be the fun grandma, right? You want to be the grandma that does all the stuff with the grandkids. You want to continue to travel as you age. You want to, whatever it is you want to be able to do, you're going to need muscle. Like you said, we're not talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger muscle. We're talking just everyday muscle.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way to do it isn't through, unfortunately, it's not through yoga. Yoga is great. I have nothing against yoga. I think yoga is great for stretching. It is great for helping with mobility.
Mm-hmm.
It is great for stress reduction, which is also important. But when we are talking about building muscle, the only way that we can build muscle is to lift heavy things. Starting out with body weight, working your way towards,
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Body weight, starting at body weight.
Right. Right.
My son, did I tell you that? Did I tell you this is what I have? My husband has his free weights in his office.
Mhm.
Okay. So my son had suggested to me, and then I think you backed it up, where he said, I have to carry my weight. Okay, wait. Maybe I don't know, but 75%, something like that. Anyway, it came to each barbell is 55 pounds. So I should be able to pick them up. I had Dan bring them from his office out into the living room so I can try it, and I still haven't done it, but I'm supposed to be able to walk around with that weight for 60 seconds, for a minute.
Right.
I guess a day. And that is a good start for me. That's, I could hardly pick them up. So anyway, that's on my list.
Yeah. Yeah. So start with less and work your way up.
True.
Yeah. But, it's so important, that we, as midlife women, are more concerned with our strength as we age than we are with being super skinny. Because it's that strength that's going to help us continue to do the things that we
want to do.
So let's talk about, in terms of nutrition, because we just talked about exercise. Let's talk about nutrition, because I know that when you are on an anti-obesity medication, that it can change your appetite, right?
Oh my God,
that's the main idea. Right?
It's
That's
funny
the
that you
whole
mention
point,
that. That you mention that, because I will tell you, like, two of the things that I have lost an appetite for are two of the things that are suggested that I eat with high protein.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What is it?
Eggs and chicken.
Really? Interesting.
I don't know what or why, but I know that I'm not the only one, because so it's funny that you say that too, because I was just, as we're talking, I'm thinking about what I'm going to have for lunch.
Yeah.
So I want to know what you're going to have for lunch.
I'm going to have leftovers.
But like what?
So last night I made gluten-free pasta with, my daughter and I are gluten-free.
Really?
Yeah. I have Hashimoto's.
So do I.
Oh.
But wait a minute. Am I supposed to be eating
gluten? No.
Wait a minute. What?
It's really inflammatory if they have Hashimoto's.
Okay.
We could do a whole episode on our thyroids.
Oh, we could.
Yeah. So I made gluten-free pasta.
Gluten-free?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't eat the crust.
Okay, that's the best part.
I know. I mean, I took a little.
Okay. Okay, now I'm gonna have to look that up when I get home. You've got Hashimoto's and gluten.
So we had gluten-free pasta, and meat sauce. So I will have that for lunch with
What's
a salad.
the basis of your pasta?
I believe I used to use the Bonza, which was the chickpea one or whatever, but I don't really like that one. No offense. It just, I don't know.
Well, they won't be sponsoring us.
There goes that sponsorship. So now I just go with, because I was always looking to add more protein to it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I use the amount of meat that I use I use a lot of meat.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll have that in a salad for lunch today.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Provided no one else has eaten.
True. True. I probably will. I don't know. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking acai.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
Acai.
So,
But yeah, it's amazing the difference of lifestyle and diet that I have between here and Costa Rica, because here I I don't I mean I eat in the morning because I have to.
yeah.
With my coffee I'll have a protein bar or drink. Then I usually skip lunch because I don't think about it, or I'll grab it, plain patties from McDonald's,
Yeah,
for the protein. And then dinner time, I pick at what I make my husband for dinner, and I make him a nice, square meal, and I really don't really eat until an hour after I go to bed. Then I get up and I eat stupid. I do. Costa Rica, I eat so healthy, breakfast, lunch, dinner.
Yeah.
And probably a lot of it has to do with because it's made for me.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I mean,
yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
And I think a lot of people feel that way too, because there's so much else going on, right? It's why the fast food industry has grown the way that it has in the past 30 years.
And prep,
right?
And prep food,
Yeah.
mail order food.
Yes.
Food, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. Crazy. Do you have any health goals for 2025?
Yeah, my main health goal for 2025 would be to actually utilize the information that you give me to put the muscle back in my arm where the fat left. Yeah. So to incorporate your
More strength training?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. I would hope that more women out there and those that are listening to this decide to incorporate more strength training and understand that it doesn't have to be as complicated, and that you can do it from home, and that it doesn't have to be, because I feel like we're also of the generation of the no pain, no gain. So a lot of times,
if I don't feel it the next day, then I don't feel like I got anything done.
right, right. And I didn't, I need to finish a workout feeling like I was punished during that workout. I need to be super sweaty. I need to have a near-death experience. And that's not really the case when it comes to our workouts. And I want women to understand that in order to build muscle, you don't have to be dead on the floor, lying in a pool of sweat in order for it to be considered a good workout, or in order for it to count.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be an hour. And I think that's the other thing. We're so used to has to be an hour because that's what all classes always were, right?
Yeah, I think all those structures in place give me the resistance. Like I don't, it's
right. If you could just do, 3 sets of 10 squats, if you're not doing anything now, and you do 3 sets of 10 squats after you brush your teeth every day,
you don't need the gear on.
Right.
No. Yeah, I mean that definitely that will make me reach those goals.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Some nail salon wisdom.
Sure, let's hear it.
Okay. We both already know that's right.
I don't know. Tell me.
You can't pour from an empty cup, so make sure that you are taking care of yourself.
You want to hear my nail salon wisdom? Well, actually, I want your opinion on it. So I want your take. Let us know if the French manicure is in or out.
Oh,
that's it. I just need to know. I've heard both sides.
That's what I was wondering. That's funny you say that, because when I was there the other day, there was a woman getting one, but she was more advanced in age. And I thought, I've never seen, or I rarely see a younger girl with that. So I thought,
here's the weird thing though. So on TikTok, there are the girls that have the long nails, and they'll have like this new kind of a French manicure. Okay. But with that being said, my husband, when I say, because I always kind of want to get it.
Yeah.
And my husband says to me, you are not a French tip girl.
Oh.
I used to be. So I don't know what that,
Hmm.
And then my daughter says, no, mom.
It's
Like she tells me it's not in anymore.
okay.
I don't even know if it ever was for her, like her
That's
age.
true. That's what I'm saying.
She's a young 20.
Yeah.
But so you guys let
Yeah.
us know. French manicure, yes or no?
Yeah. Yeah. And then we also want to know if you have any health goals for 2025, and we want to hear them.
We want to hear do you want tone arms and tone belly, or do you guys want something different? That's what I want. I want tone arm, tone belly.
So let us know.
Mm-hmm.
And don't forget that we want you to subscribe to the podcast and maybe leave us a review, because we would really appreciate that. So that is all we have for this time, and we can't wait to catch you next time.
Stay sunny and sassy.
And